Good morning, everybody. It's Javier, and I'm super excited to be with you here this morning for a lot of different reasons. I'll cover some of them here in just a bit, but I just want to go ahead and let you know that this is a great day for you to show up for our webinar because we are going to cover a lot of information. So I'm going to start right away. Obviously, if you're watching the recording, the first thing you need to do is make sure that you go ahead and like the video and also subscribe to the channel so you can always stay up to speed on all that is going on. We're going to talk about 5 ways to eliminate or minimize at least chargebacks. I'm telling you, some of you are getting killed by this, and we're going into a part of the season, if you would, when they have a tendency to see an uptick, and it's bad because they will run either you or some of your teammates out of business, and it literally happens every week. So every week we let go of people that went down this route for too long. So I don't want that to happen to you. But before that, as always, first things first, I want to really emphasize, and sometimes I'm a little bit shocked when I talk to people about how they want their income to grow, they want their business to grow, but they don't operate off of a CRM. And for those that don't know what a CRM, well, Google it. There's a lot of different CRM services out there. It's impossible, in my opinion, to really get yourself to where you could potentially be without a CRM. Too many people say, well, I'll keep it all up here. Worst place to do that, and you want to have a something that you can manage your relationships with your clients, if you would. I use my CRM for potential prospects, for potential clients. I use it for my annual reviews. I use it to text my clients. I use it to email clients. I use it to email prospects, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And so if you don't have a CRM, my recommendation is to go ahead this week, investigate, look into it, get one. Otherwise, you will literally never be able to hit your true potential. It's impossible. I have never seen it happen, and it never will happen because of the simple fact that you're not going to ever be able to scale up your production, recruiting, or excuse me, any aspect of your business. If you are interested, next week I'm going to have offer, if you would. If you have any CRM, keep using it. But if you don't have a CRM, I don't know how or why. The number one reason people don't have CRM, what do you think is the number one reason? Anybody, real quick. Spit it out. Anybody? What do you think? Well, let's just get right to it. Go ahead.
Lack of understanding of how it.
I mean, I think my favorite CRM is Salesforce, and that one starts at like $180 a month. There are some that are going for $50 a month, and so on and so on and so on. I'm going to run something by you next week to see if you want to. As you know, I do buy a lot of the software from time to time with master reseller rights, and that just simply gives me the opportunity to resell it at a discount. I used to give stuff away. I don't do that anymore ever, but we are going to do that next week. If you want to learn about how you can use a CRM to scale up your business, and the best part is it's going to be $49, but it's a one-time fee. You pay one time and you use it for life, which is pretty cool. Just like I gave all of you free smart calendar link, blah, blah, whatever. The same thing. It's free for life. You just simply pay one time. So I'll talk about that next week. I also need to pay some bills, so I'm going to go ahead and throw out a commercial here. 100% selfish about me. I just want to make everybody, and I do mean everybody, aware of this. In the event that you yourself are a homeowner, this is something I did, and I'm so glad that I did it. And what you see here is a copy of my electricity bill. Now I pay on average, well, you'll see how much I pay. On average, it's probably around $3 something a month for electricity. And so what this shows you is the power of going solar. I want to thank Mr. George Munoz. He's the one that actually told me about this and led me down this path. And so anyways, my wife and I got tired of our bills being all over the place. This month was $341. Previous month was $418. Before that, it was just all over the place. So I wanted something stable. I looked into going solar 3 times before. People, actual companies came to my home. They wanted big down payments. The electrical panel needed to be upgraded. It just turned into such a hassle. I did nothing with it. And before you know it, here's another year of very high electricity bills. Here's a screenshot of my bills on a monthly basis. And as you can see, they run the gamut from the 200s all the way to the 768, which, believe it or not, at an average of $350 or so, it's not bad because that includes the gasoline for our 2 electric cars. So I'm happy at that. But if I could take it for less, like most people, if you could reduce, or somebody could reduce their electricity bill, why not? They did a proposal via Zoom. They showed me this. They showed me a screenshot of my home. This is where the panels would go, blah, 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 blah. But the best part, when they showed me this, I could get all this for $157 a month. Fast forward till, on top of that, I got an actual, tax credit for almost 13, actually it was over 13,000 because I had to rent a brand new roof on top of that. I actually qualified for an interest rate of 1.49%, which saves me 103,000 over the next 25 years. There's no lien on my property. They didn't touch my property taxes, on and on and on. And there's the final product right there. So I'm so pumped up because remember, in FFS, one of the hardest things to do is to get people to understand that they do have the money to buy life insurance or whatever the case might be. And there's in my opinion, at least, there's no way to do that than by showing somebody where to save the money. And so I saved literally $500 a month on some months. For the average, I probably saved $250. Either way, it's money I was giving away to the power company. And now that includes 2 cars, the pool, the damn motor runs, the pump runs all the damn time, and these cool brand new roof, as you can see, simply unbelievable. I'm happy. My wife is the happiest with the money that we're saving. Even my granddaughter there is happy. This is a snapshot of last year. This time, as you can see, my average bill or usage, I should say, I was using 44 kilowatts a day, which is not, it's a lot of power, but it's not bad. Even my bill was $271. Well, I'll take it because that includes gasoline for, again, both of my cars. And that's just the way it goes. Fast forward to this year. So far in this billing cycle, my average daily usage, -21. That means I'm actually pumping 21 kilowatt hours into the grid every single day, except for those 2 cloudy days that you see there. Just a no-brainer. Anyways, if you are a homeowner, you're not Power or anything like that, and you want to see how this could work for you, scan this code right now with your smartphone, and it'll pop up with an SMS message with my cell phone number, and the message is already done. All you have to do is hit send, and I'll get you a free solar savings report as well to see how much you could save. It's the ultimate no-brainer. This company has installed over 10,000 units, solar units, and it's just an incredible thing. So enough of that. I just love saving money because I would rather take another vacation. We're leaving for Ecuador, we come back, and then we're leaving for Mexico City, then we come back, and then we're leaving after that. Again, I'd rather take that money with me and blow it over there versus giving it to the utility company and having them blow my money. Enough of that. The second component I was going to talk to you about that I'm going to cover right now has to do with the cost of the pre-sub appointments. As you know, a lot of our teammates that are doing very, very well are in with the prepaid appointments. This is run by Patrick. I don't run it personally, but we're going to consolidate for those that are interested. We're not moving anything from anybody that's already leveraging Patrick. That's fine. I just wanted to share with you the pricing of some of these appointments. In the event that you're already taking appointments from Patrick, number one, we're going to just simply consolidate our purchasing power because some of the problems he has, we are going to go ahead and address, if you would. And we're going to address that by simply bringing everything tighter in together. So that's the wrong flow code. If you're already taking part in this campaign, scan this code right here so you can become part of this plan. Again, we're not going to take you from zero to hero. If you don't even know how to do a online web-based webinar type of presentation, it's not for you. It's just that simple. We just want to take everybody that's doing it to a next level. Scan this right here for more information, and I will go ahead and add it to our list. We are going to kick it off on June the 1st. The last question I have for you is, what did you learn this past week? Hopefully you learned something.
I'm sorry, you had cut off. You said if we're already doing that, still scan the code?
Yeah, if you're already doing it, this is only for people that are doing it. We are looking to get more leads in the hands of people already doing it to increase their income. With the problem that Patrick is having several problems, which I completely understand, and we're going to be able to fix that for him. And in return, he's going to be able to fill up the pipelines of those that are running the. So if you're already taking those appointments, scan it, fill out the form. We're going to do a special webinar. If you're already taking appointments from Patrick and you're happy with what you're doing, don't scan the code. Keep doing your thing, and thank you for doing it here. But like I said, for those that are going to want to consolidate, we're going to tighten up a little bit of the training, some of the things that he sees that some people are dropping the ball on, and then he loses, we lose, and everybody loses. And we're just trying to increase not just the number of leads, but how many leads are actually converted into applications as well. All right, cool. Any questions about that? Interrupt me as I go, because I have a lot of info, but you need to interrupt me as I go, because I've been moving at a very fast pace today. So just interrupt me. Thank you. Also, the Kaizen workshop, we're 1 week away from it. I can't begin to tell you how important this is. I don't know how many of you were on the Kaizen webinar this past week. I think you understand the power behind it. The whole thing this past week was how to become part of the $1 Million Club, meaning get paid $1 million for Kaizen. And you do need to understand how the concept of Kaizen works with the compensation. There's a split to NIW. But even so, you still make more money than the traditional way of doing IULs. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not the expert there. They are coming here to do it. Excuse me. And this is the webinar that we held this past. I didn't hold it. I just attended it, which was I thought a great webinar. These are some of the slides that I was able to steal, where they just simply talks about some of the benefits and so on and so on. And so, anyways. If you are interested in grabbing a seat or requesting a seat for this event, it's this coming Saturday. Here's the flow code for the event. Again, I'm telling you, we are going to be helping a lot of people dramatically increase their income, their marketing, their leads, and so on. I'm looking for people also that are already working with businesses. We have a second, kind of like a Patrick of a different world that can help generate leads, but they do it through the employee retention side of the house. For those that don't know, the federal government set aside $132 billion to reimburse taxes that were paid on behalf of employees for those that were retained during the last 3 quarters of 2020 and the first 3 quarters of 2021. And I helped one business owner yesterday. They didn't even know they qualified for it. And they're literally, the average return is over $180,000. They do split it in a portion with the company doing all the legwork, and there's got to be CPAs prepared and so on. But if you're already working with businesses or are looking to go into the business side of the house, do that. National Life Group is holding their CPA Connection training in Las Vegas. They already announced the date for that as well. So if you're working with businesses, you need to make sure you're at the Kaizen event. It's very, very simple. If you're looking to increase your income, make sure you attend the Kaizen event as well. We are picking up the tab on everything, so it's going to be free to our agents. And so again, it's just a way of making sure we're giving everybody a fair shot at earning the income they deserve. You better get on the ball. Times are changing, recession's coming, and already we are seeing a lot of people being very skittish about spending money. So consumer confidence is down big time. And so it's very important that, again, you get as much information as you possibly can. Lastly, the convention, make sure that you don't lack the belief yourself. Make sure that you're not the problem. So make sure that you attend the convention in July. Scan this code to register for the convention. And please don't call or text me, ask me for any links to any of the stuff. Go back to YouTube, look at the video, and scan away. But don't call or text me like I always have people do from time to time. So anyways, just go ahead and do that. Lastly, the most important element of all, Memorial Day, we want to make sure that we all are grateful for everybody that has gone before us. As you know, in case you don't know, Veterans Day is when we honor those that have served. And then we have, of course, Memorial Day, where we honor those that have died in the line of duty, serving their country. And so for me, it's very, very important to never do this. For me, Memorial Day means a different type of remembrance. I'm just grateful that I'm here with you today. Last year, on this day, I was on the ICU, in the stroke section of the ICU, and after COVID. And so I'm just glad that I'm here with you. It means different things to different people. But please, after everything is said and done, don't forget ever what it is that we are talking about. We're talking about the men, the women, the children, the parents that are left behind when somebody pays the ultimate price. And unfortunately, it continues, and more than likely will always continue to happen, which is part of the price of being who we are. But I think the ultimate crime is when we forget about them. So please have a beer, have a hot dog, have a barbecue, have family time. But if you can, for a split second, at least say a quick prayer. If you have a flag, fly your flag today. And if not, it's okay too if you don't believe in any of this stuff, but it's because of them that you get to not believe in anything. So either way, all I have to say is say thank you for all of those that have passed away serving our country. And for them, and because of them, we're able to do what we do. So please don't forget, if you get the chance, to say a quick prayer as we do all of our other festivities throughout the day. So let's talk about the chargebacks. We're going to talk about how to eliminate them, and if at the very least minimize them. This is the one thing I was going to show you a couple of emails that I got, or that I always get from the home office, but I couldn't because they always start with "for your eyes only." So I was like, okay, I better not do that. But I do want to give you the to appreciate how important chargebacks are, as not just to you, Because see, if you are okay with your placement, retention, meaning how much business stays on the books, if you're good, you're good. But all it takes is one or two people on your team to not be good. And before you know it, your income will get swallowed up by chargebacks. And this week and the previous week was a horrible week for some people as it relates to that, where they literally got nothing, not because they didn't earn anything, not because they didn't work hard, but because people in their team were not, were just getting hit with chargebacks. And so I cannot stand chargebacks. I'm very proud to say I don't get hit with chargebacks, but at the same time, I have to tell you that there are certain people on our team that just for whatever reason do this consistently, and to the point that they get run out of the company for the simple fact that obviously when somebody's not making any money and they have a chargeback, they cannot pay it off with new business. And so it starts to go ahead and build up. Once it does that for 3 consecutive weekly commissions, you get a bill. Once you ignore that or don't pay it, it turns to the first notice of collection. Once that does not get addressed, then it turns into the second notice of connection, and of course the last collection, and of course the last one. And after the last one is when we go ahead. Well, I don't do it, but I'm saying corporate is when they go ahead and not only do they turn it over to collections, but they also put a vector hit on you or the person. And when somebody has a vector hit, for those that don't know, that just simply means that you have a black eye with the life insurance industry, and every single, or most carriers check that database before they appoint you. And if you have a hit, they make you go back and pay back that debt wherever it came from before they contract you. And so what that means is the end of it's at the end of the road, and it's the end of the career for the life insurance side, at least for that individual. And then after that, of course, it goes to one of the many life insurance debt collection companies that are out there that will take on the case as well. Any questions as to how these chargebacks affect you and I? Because I'm in the same boat. I get hit with chargebacks, not because of what I canceled, but because somebody on the team did. And so boom, there comes the the chargeback for me as well. We used to do the EFC letters, which I don't sign them anymore. When somebody comes with issues from the past from other companies, I would simply sign saying, hey, I make myself personally responsible for this person. And I stopped doing that because people just take advantage of it. And even though they promise you that if they do get a chargeback here, they're going to go ahead and take care of it, they just don't. So I don't do that anymore. So if somebody ever tells you we'll get an EFC to sign up this letter, don't even bother bringing it to me because I will never sign it. I just don't do that anymore. Any questions about this part, the administrative part? Anything at all? Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. Well, let me start by asking you a question. Why do you think chargeback takes place? What are some of the top reasons in your mind that they've taken place with you or people on your team? Anybody?
Miscommunication, lack of communication.
Perfect. Okay, somebody else. Give me another one, please. Another reason.
Not fully vetting their financial situation.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Somebody else. Thank you. Great answer. Somebody else. And one of the things that's, go ahead, anyone? Okay. Well, one of the things that's really ironic about this is how these reasons overlap. Both of you said, gave outstanding answers. And there's more. We're just talking about the top 5. And it's amazing how they all blend into each other. So that should actually make it easier. But what fault do we play, do you think, sometimes when chargebacks occur? What do you think? Anybody?
We don't call them back. We don't call them, find out why.
Okay, we never find out why. That's a very good one right there. Okay, but where do we play a fault in? Once the chargeback takes place, you're screwed at that point, right? They're done. They what is it? What do we? I mean, our fault. I have smelled, personally, I'm just being honest, I have smelled potential chargebacks in the past, and I ignored the smell. Does that make sense? I don't know if it makes sense to you, but maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. What I'm getting at is that what is it?
I said the warning signs, we see that folks are.
We see them, but the challenge with our business, a lot of things. Number one, we need money. So we just simply say, look, this will get me through the month. Let's just do it. We'll deal with it later. That could be one thing. Absolutely. And so another part of it is that it ends up turning into a Ponzi scheme because of the fact that now we have to go get another business to pay off. And so when we're desperate for business, our standards usually go down, which we cannot allow that to happen. So in the spirit of being very, very fast with this whole thing, let me go ahead and let's start with number one. And it's not in any one particular order. And a lot of these things just, overlap each other. I'm telling you right now, but I'll show you what I mean. Number one, is suitability, meaning, is this product really right for them? Now, what is one of the most important elements do you think when it comes to suitability with, let's just say, IULs and annuities? What is it? I mean, if I was to ask you, is life insurance suitable for anybody? For most people, the answer is yes. Of course, they need life insurance. But what are we talking about here? Suitability. What do you think is the number one reason? Because remember, go ahead.
Their ability to pay once and have excess cash once.
Okay, that's one of them, but that's not the number one in this regard. You're right, and we're going to cover that. But you're right. Hold on to that thought. You're right. You're right. You're next. What else? Anybody? If you were to go back and find out why the IUL has such a bad reputation among some circles, what do you think is the number one thing that pops up every time? And I'm talking about maybe you did your job and it was right for the client at the time. However, here comes somebody, and when a certain company comes up along and they pick up the policy of your client and they show them certain things and they end up canceling it. What was it that they're going to claim?
Surrender charges.
The surrender charges. Every single time. I've never had somebody call me and say, hey, I had my cousin swing by, I picked up a policy and circled around the part that says about 10-year surrender charge period. I couldn't believe it. I was so happy. I mean, I've never had that happen. And so that's one of the biggest reasons. And remember, not because it's not right for them, even when you gave it to them, but at the moment that somebody else is pointing it out. Now, when that happens, that has a lot to do with the next couple of reasons that I told you all overlap. And at that point, what does that tell you when somebody else comes along and replaces business? What does that tell you about yourself and your business practices? Anybody?
You didn't do a good job of explaining all this.
Okay, let's just say you did that. Let's just say you did that. The number one reason that we're getting into now has to do with what? Think about it a little bit if you have to.
Credibility that you have.
Oh,
Did you
part of
have
it,
it?
but it has to do with
Not staying in contact with your clients.
not staying in contact with your client. The same credibility, the same trust, the same level of respect you had when you first approached them has faded away. And that's when we all get into trouble, because we actually feel a little stupid, by the way, calling them back saying, I know I got you that IUL 5 years ago, but if you remember at the time, that's a pretty stupid conversation to have with somebody. At least that would make me feel stupid. And so therefore, guess what? We let it go. And there's not a lot we can do anyways, but our reputation is tainted, especially if it's friends, family, it's somebody from work, from your church, from your gym, one of your spheres of influence. Now you have a pissed off client running around that before you could use them as an example of a happy client. Now you want to hope and pray they don't say anything to anybody, because even if it's wrong, and most of the time it was suitable, they still needed. You're 5 years through your surrender charge period. Of course, you can access part of your cash value now, like we spoke about. But the point is that we didn't stay in touch, which is, like I said, all these reasons overlap. But when it comes to suitability, the number one thing life agents avoid on purpose when it comes to presenting of IUL is what?
Talking about the surrender.
Surrender charges.
People, but we have classes. You can go to our YouTube channel and check out the class on surrender charges. It's amazing how much work agents and how creative, because I've seen it, how creative they are and try to just simply skip past the surrender charge period. And I'm, on the other hand, am circling it because I want to make sure when somebody says, hey, Javier, you never told me about the surrender charge, open up to page 12. You see that? Remember when we circled that right there? Remember, circle it. Oh, that's true. And you have no clue how many people have done that. And I've never lost a deal because it triggers certain things that they don't want to make themselves feel dumb either. And so then it, reminds them about that, and you're fine. And so suitability, especially with IULs. So yesterday, a perfect example. I had somebody, last week, of a client that I didn't even know the client because I just inherited this client. They want to get $10,000 from their annuity. And so they sent me an email, basically send me $10,000. I'm like, I can't respond to an email. I don't even know who the hell you are. I don't know you. I don't know if this is your email. This is a phishing. I sent them to the company, but the National Life gave them a little bit of a hard time. So I got involved, and it was them. But this is somebody who's retired. They're already a California teacher, retired, got their annuity. There's two of them actually. and they've had it for over 10 years. One of them they've had over 12 years, and they went to get the money out, and National Life Group comes back and says, I know you're retired already, but unfortunately, you still have your surrender charge period. She's like, this is from like 2000 and whatever the hell it was. She said, I mean, and I went and I looked at it. I said, damn, she's right. She still can't touch the money. And she's been retired for 5 years. And so I learned a lot. I didn't know that, to be honest with you, that they could do that. Now, thankfully, in California, annuities can be more than 10 years. They can't go beyond the 10, because I think that's ridiculous. And on top of that, the craziest part is that, once we do that, she's retired, we find the other annuity just came out of the surrender charge period. So we're going to be able to get her $10,000. And so they told me, just make sure you fill out the form. She fills out the form. So I gave her the form. She filled it out. She submitted it. I called in because National Life never acknowledged they received it. And so, we sent it to disbursements at nationallife.com, whatever. And they're like, well, you know what? You need to go get to your third-party administrator to sign off on this. And she's like, look, listen, I am retired, man. Who the hell are they? Who are they? Well, we can give you the phone number. I'm telling you right now, I was very disappointed for her to have to go through this. I feel really, really bad. And so you got to keep these things in mind, that especially if they're going to be in the scope of retirement during the surrender charge period, that might be an issue right there. Number 2, we covered it earlier. Somebody said it, affordability. Now, I've been in the mortgage industry, for over 20 years, and we ask for things like pay stubs. We ask for credit report checks. We're going to compare everything to make sure that it's affordable. How do we determine the affordability of an IUL for anybody?
Based on what they report.
Based on what they're telling you. And let me tell you one thing about human beings. Let me tell you one thing about human beings in my 22 years in the mortgage industry. It's amazing how most people think they make more than they really do. Okay, I'm telling you right now. And it's amazing how much people owe, a lot more than they think they do. So if you're telling me how much I can afford a month, and I tell you probably easily $400 or $500 a month. Now, again, the part of us that wants to make a sell, I'd rather get a $500 a month IUL versus a $400. I'll be the very first to tell you that. But if I know nothing more about these people, I would say that probably a $200 a month IUL would be more appropriate, because unfortunately, we are talking about something that they're going to have to hold on for a long time. And it's not that they don't make enough money. It's just that most people don't net enough money, meaning after their credit cards, after their cars, and of course, after they just go out there and have a good old time. Look at Memorial Day weekend. Gasoline prices, all-time high. Airline tickets, all-time high. But guess what? Everybody's traveling. That's what the news was talking about today. Now, ironically, the first 2 quarters of this year have been the highest in credit card debt, accumulated credit card debt for households since 2007. So that tells you that we're already leveraging credit cards more than ever before, or at least in a long time. And so that $500 a month IUL or $400 a month IUL is probably at some point going to blow up in somebody's face. Now, in your defense, we're not required to do a full DTI, which I think we should. What is their debt to income ratio already? Because if you look at the credit report, what they've already have their income spoken for. Most people, the reason that they're so disgruntled and they hate their job, it's not the job, it's that they don't know how to manage money. They know that they're going to work. 80% of the money they're going to earn is spoken for to their creditors already. They know it and they hate it. But here they go get more debt. And so again, you have to ask yourself, ask them for something to really do the math, a budget or something, unless, again, you're willing to go ahead and risk it. And I'm telling you right now, this week we had let go of 3 good people, very good people, but they were all let go for one. This is for my team, I'm saying. I like them, but because of their chargeback balances. And think about this. If you have a $500 a month, if you have a $500 negative balance with FFS, or $1,000, one had $3,000. Now, if they had $3,000 laying around to just give to somebody, they would probably do so, but they don't. That's why they're trying to hustle. And so if they can't make a payment plan, we had one person last 2 months ago, fall off the payment plan. Never went through a lot of hassle. Was about to get terminated. We stepped in, said, look, before you do that, let's just do this, this, and this. And before you know it, we were able to save this person. And then the plan was reached. And then she never made a payment on that plan. She was just stalling. And so at that point, people were like, okay, done. And the problem with getting terminated for cause, of course, is that you give up your renewals, and any renewals coming from your team as well. And so if that happens to be the case, work with collections or work with FFS, not with me, I have nothing to do with it. But don't do that. I think that's a pretty high price to pay for that. And again, I am more worried, by the way, not of the chargebacks of you as an individual, but that of your team. They will put you out of business like it's nobody's business. And if you have not experienced that, that just tells me you don't have a big enough team. I mean, that's just the way it is, because it happens every single payday. Number 3 can be a little controversial, and I really don't care, but is the level of financial sophistication for the individual. What is that? What do I mean by that? Anybody? I need you guys to pitch in and participate before people start talking crap about me.
People's understanding of money and how it works.
People don't. Okay. Anybody else, please? Good. Thank you. Come on. Come on. You're asking for it. Go ahead.
Solve financial, to create solutions for their financial situations.
Okay. Okay. I mean, what else? Anybody, please.
Yeah, most people don't understand what the different products are and what they're intended for. So if the agent doesn't explain it, then they think they're buying something that might be something else.
Okay. And also there's a lot of other things that tie into the back end, right? So if I'm talking to Kathy, right? And let's just say I'm talking to Kathy, and Kathy, well, let me ask you a question, Kathy. Have you ever had a 403B before?
No.
Okay, you've never had have you ever participated or paid into a 401k when you worked for maybe for a private company or anything like that?
Yes, an old one.
Okay, an old one. And what ended up happening with that one?
I don't know. I just left it there. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do.
Either A, they might say that. What's another thing they might say that I hear a lot?
I cashed it out.
I cashed it out and the damn government kept all my money, right? I mean, well, that's pretty much the exact same thing that could happen here. So what I'm getting at now, what if I'm talking to Kat, and this is very personal for me because I do believe in empowering people, educating people. But let me tell you something. If you have to start from scratch and educate them, empower them, and then you turn around and sell them in IUL, you are asking for trouble. You are asking for a lot of trouble, because if I'm asking, and just to play along, Kathy, just say no. Well, Kathy, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had life insurance in the past?
No.
Okay, do you have any kind of savings for retirement in a 403B, 401k, IRA, or anything like that?
No, just my pension.
Okay, just your pension. Okay, have you ever had anything outside of your pension that you started yourself, that you managed yourself at all?
No.
I mean, just so you know, right out of the gate, I know for a fact she cannot tell me she understands the importance of life insurance for the simple fact that she doesn't have any. Period. She's never had it before. Now, I'm not saying that I wouldn't write that person up, but at least in your mind, you should know that this is high-risk stuff. Let me give you an example. We used to be able to do, and we still can, I just choose not to. We used to go to what are called parent centers and do college funding workshops for kids. These are parents and grandparents that go to local elementary schools, and we used to do them. I liked it because I'm very passionate about, changing the bad habits that sometimes prior generations have had for whatever reason. A lot of it has to do with socioeconomic, lack of understanding, whatever you want to call it. Not enough, inequitable availability, whatever the hell you want to call it. And so we used to go in there, and it was amazing how many parents and grandparents showed up to these workshops, and every single one of them wanted their kids to go to college, wanted to save for college. But what we found was that they had a very, very, very low level of sophistication of anything. No 401ks, no 403bs, no IRAs, no mutual funds, no life insurance, no college funds, nothing. And what ended up happening one parent center would tell another one and another one. And so if you ever want to write up a bunch of business, if you ever want to go make a difference in the world, go to the parent centers. Every single school has it. Every parent center mandates that parents or grandparents have to show up to represent the child's interest. It's gossip. And we wrote so many kids IULs for $50 a month, $75 a month, that you wouldn't even believe it. But a year later, every single one of those IULs had been surrendered. Every single one, not most, every single one. And that's not because they all hit the jackpot or the lottery or because they all got full ride scholarships. It's just that if you're going to go in and truly provide a wealth building workshop, start and end with that. Now, can you do that and then pass out a questionnaire and have people check off, I want to know more about this, and then when you sit down with them to really, really drill them without telling them that you're drilling them, their level of sophistication, because I will be the very first to tell you to take somebody from zero financial sophistication, never had life insurance, never had this, never had that, and then throw them into an IUL with the surrender charges, with the caps, with everything else. It's amazing how many of those are going, and that's what's killing our team right now as it relates to chargebacks. Marcella, my wife, is every single week, she pulls up every single chargeback by name. And the common denominator has a lot to do with what I just described. So please don't take it the wrong way, but don't set yourself up to fail. If somebody does, or if somebody lacks the financial sophistication, that's not because of you. And you taking a hit with the chargeback or getting booted out of the company because of the chargeback and getting thrown to a vector hit, it's not going to do anything to change anything, except it's going to hurt you. And so you have to ask yourself, what's this person's level of financial sophistication? Because if I'm talking to somebody who has a 403B, and plus I have my pension, and plus I have my deferred comp on top of that, I have a VUL from back in the 90s, and I just want to go more towards the IUL because of the indexing. And plus, I think the stock market is going to continue to drop. So yeah, my last 5 years, I don't want to start losing too much money. I want to just go to something indexed. Perfect. Perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. But if you deal with somebody who is the opposite, be very wary. That's all I am saying. Any thoughts on this from anybody? Anybody? So to wrap it up, if you're going to just go educate people, start and end with that. That's what I'm saying. Be very careful. You're not going to take them, as I like to say, from zero to hero and then expect them to keep it. Because the moment the new iPhone pops up, they would much rather spend $100 a month getting that iPhone for themselves or for their kids and give up the IUL. And there goes your chargeback and everything else that goes with it. So be very careful, very, very careful about that. Number 4, education. Now, what do we mean by education? Anybody? All right. Well, we're talking about education. Go ahead.
I think it goes back to just communication in the very beginning and helping them to understand how the IUL works, how it's built, the fees that are included in it, the surrender charges that's gonna impact them in that, as well as the annuity. I think the education is more about them understanding also how it's going to benefit them in all the different ways. It's so many ways that they can use the IUL that even newer agents don't even understand, like the loan process. I think that's going to really help.
You just took the words right out of my mouth, which was, first of all, the education starts, what I'm referring to, with the agents. It's amazing what some agents tell people because they have no damn clue what they're talking about themselves, number one. And so you cannot tell me that you did not take one course, one webinar, one masterclass online about the IUL indexing, either by the provider, either by FFS, the carrier's corner. You're not going to tell me that you didn't do that this past week and you still think you know what you're doing. Now, that might be the case, but I can tell you that for the vast majority, that's not the case. I was talking to George Munoz. He took over another client from an agent that got booted out. And George called me back and says, I don't even know what to do, man. What this guy told the client is completely wrong. It's not true. And I go, well, here's where you got to be very careful, because at this point, it's you that has that E&O insurance right now. And it's you that's going to be responsible for it. And so that's why I don't inherit. When somebody, when I get an email from the home office saying, hey, this person needs a new servicing agent and we've assigned them to you, my response every time to that email, get the hell out of here. I don't want it. I want nothing to do with it. I want my clients, I'll go get my own clients. By the time they get to that level, or conservation opportunity, here's a chance to save the business. That's another way of saying, here's a chance to hear from a very pissed off client that in most cases is right. The client is right about what they're so upset about. And so again, I think that as you saw when I started my slides with the solar thing, here's a company that offers solar that puts people through a certification process in the beginning that's 10 times more detailed and complicated than the one we go through as life insurance agents. And it blows me away. It literally blows me away when you ask people to explain anything from caps to rates to surrender charges to the answers scare the hell out of me. And so the education starts with the actual agent, number one. And then number two, just like she said, we do have to educate the client. We will always have to do that. Even if they have 10 existing IULs, every single IUL has something that's a little different that they need to understand. And not just understand, but appreciate. Now, I need you to understand this, that what you're about to start here is no joke. The good news is you're going to have protection, peace of mind, the life insurance for the rest of your life. So that means you're going to have to keep it for the rest of your life. And just by me telling you that it has a 10-year surrender charges, if you were to tell me that you're going to keep it for 10 years so you can cash it out in year 11, I would tell you, don't start it. That's not what it's intended to do. It's intended to help you, your loved ones, your heirs. It's intended to be a legacy product that goes on forever. And so as long as you understand that, then we can proceed, because that's what you need to tell them and how you need to tell it to them, instead of skating around. Yeah, you can access up to 90% starting in year number 2. Well, let me ask you a question. How much of that cash value, honestly, how much of it is available year 2, by the way? Anybody?
With an IUL? How much cash value?
In year number 2 is available to be taken out.
Not a whole.
Time none.
Nothing. Nothing. You would tell somebody that they can put in $1,000 the first year and they can access 100 after year number starting in year number 2. First of all, that's a lie. Number one. Number two, what the hell is $100 going to do for somebody? Why would you even tell them that? Or even in year number 2 or year number 3. So you're telling me you would go to a bank that lets you deposit $100 a month and in 6 years you can only take $400 out? That's not what it's for. And so if this is the only savings you have going on, don't do it. And so we need to educate the agent, the client, and also, depending on the product, the people around them, because they will be the ones that know what's on the line. I had a very, very bad or sad news yesterday from one of our actual FFS agents that has a spouse. I'm not going to get into anything, but it has a spouse that came down with stage 3 cancer, and now the whole day is spent, because it's stage 3. They're doing both, radiation and doing chemo, everything, every single day. And so, anyways, my whole thing was, well, don't forget about the living benefits, because they can push you. And the answer was, to be honest with you, we never got it. We never got it. Now you can tell them that I'm an example of, what can happen. No, I'm not going to mention your name. I'm not going to mention this person's area or zip code or anything. No, that's not. I didn't know that. And so, what a tough position to be in. What a horrible position, tough position. And, sending our prayers and doing what we can to help out. But what do you say? And so again, going back to what I'm saying, it's amazing how many times we go out there and try to sell people on the importance, the power of something we really don't even believe in ourselves enough to get. I've sold more IULs by just simply opening up my own National Life Group app and sharing with them what it does for me, what it has done for me and my grandkids, than any brochure, any script, or anything else could ever do. That's just the way it is. Lastly, we've all said it, because like I told you, they all overlap in communication. I find it so heartbreaking to think that, because before, for a while, the question was sometimes, is it really let me go back over here. Let me see. So I'm just going into my Google, and I'm going to do two things, because I used to ask myself, man, if only technology, it would help people. I mean, it would literally help people, agents meaning, be better at this, better at that. And then, of course, we start to get the technology, which I'm pulling up right here. I hope that doesn't require my phone number. Hold on, just see if I can pull this up real quick. Yeah, this is National Life Group. And then I realized that the entire time, it wasn't the people. I mean, it wasn't the technology or lack of technology. It was the people. That's the problem we have. Very clearly. The problem is the agents. That's what it is. And so what I mean by that, of course, those that are receiving information and not moving on it. I'm not saying that agents are, no, if you're doing it, bless your heart. Thank you for doing it. We got to be advocates for our clients and not hypocrites. But what I realized over here, if I go into, let's just say, book of business, perfect example. Book of business, enforce clients. Oh, client intelligence, I'm sorry. Book of business, client intelligence. And here, as you can see, let me just make it bigger so you guys don't see the names necessarily, because it doesn't matter, you don't know them. But here, on the 27th, there's the disbursement I was helping that lady with yesterday, I was telling you. On the 27th, a life event that tells you that it's this person's, this client's birthday, a payment is overdue, a transfer took place, another disbursement, everything you could possibly want to know, everything is here on a daily, literally basis. And on top of that, they will even, the system email you. So if I come in here, it not only tells you one life event, somebody's birthday, servicing. I mean, this goes out daily. And guess what most agents do with the information? Guess. Anyway.
Not a damn thing.
Ignore it.
Not a goddamn thing. Literally, not a goddamn thing. Ignore it. Brought to us on a silver platter, saying, hey, this person needs help. Okay, whatever. Let me just go back to my Instagram. Hey, this person's birthday. Oh, good for her. Good for him. I mean, every single, you know what I would do to have this kind of information in the mortgage world, in the real estate world, the solar world now? You know what I would do to have that? Because the money's in the referrals. I don't have the time. I would pull up my last commission statements. The commissions that I get, and remember, we get paid twice a week. They're from 2007, 2008. We're in 2022. Solar doesn't do that. Real estate doesn't do that. Mortgage doesn't even give you a damn chance to do that. Here we get the chance, and they give you the info on how to keep them happy. Remember my favorite word, automate. I can set up my automated system so I put this person's birthday on this date, boom, text and the email goes out, happy birthday, Joe. Wishing you the best. Your trusted advisor, Javier. Spend one day a year loading up with birthdays and let the system do it for you, but yet we can't even do that. And so, like I said, in wrapping it up, I just want to remind everybody, if you are interested, let me just back up here. Next Saturday, let me back it up so you can't see it. It's $49. Now, listen to me. Go get it anywhere. I'm not telling you, this is not the only one. I mean, I'm just saying, go by all means, go get it anywhere. But next week, we are going to do the CRM, $49. After that, it goes up to $99, but it's lifetime access. Pay one time. And for me, to be honest with you, the only reason it's $49 is because I want to make sure that it's people that are going to take the time to learn it, use it, leverage it, and succeed with it as well. Otherwise, I don't care. I don't need the money, but it is what it is. Any questions from anybody about anything? Anything at all?
It went really fast through the federal business tax credit. That
Okay, say it again. Kathy, you're breaking up. Go ahead.
The federal business tax credit, you said you're going to have some information on how to.
I do have it. Yes. And so the way it is, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Yeah, I got the envelope just 2 days ago. I'm already working with actually 2 people that are doing this. And all it is, just so you know, it's not a business. It's not here. It's not a business. Not something you sign up for. No, I'm just saying that it's a great way to get in. And it's basically called the Employee Retention Tax Credit, or ERTC. What I'm going to do, those that are interested in that, I'm going to send you the actual script. And all you need to do is fill out one single form. And with that, they will tell you whether or not they qualify for, and if so, approximately, because it's by number of employees, they will get. And it's something like this. This is like a script. Have you heard of the Employee Retention Tax Credit? It provides immediate cash flow relief to eligible employers. If your business was affected by COVID, you may be eligible. Have you applied for it? Well, what is it? Well, there is money available, and it's up to $26,000 per employee and can be refunded to you, because this is stuff you already paid, by the way. $26,000 per employee refunded to you. You want to find out if you're eligible, there's no cost to you, and if there's no recovery. And I would like to schedule a call with one of our experts who will spend some time with you to determine your company's eligibility. And I would like to complete a one-page form to assist with that. And that's all there is to it. If they have, now they have to have, now just so you know, they have to, here's just some of the stuff that I'll send you. And it's all barely in the packet still. I haven't scanned it. I'm going to scan it off, but it's all nice and pretty, shiny. And so basically, they have to have a certain number of employees. They have to have, depending on what side they fall under, here it is. So they have to have available under the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021. They're down to like only $31 billion left. It was over 100, but it's going to run out. And when the money runs out, it's done. Must have between 5 and 500 employees. And then who qualifies? Those whoever experienced a decline in quarterly gross receipts. And the CPA partner, they've recovered up $250 million. They do all the heavy lifting. Again, it's not something you join. It's not a business, not a MLM. There's not a code number. There's no money involved. There's nothing. It's just what we are doing through this CPA firm to get our people. And once you get that kind of a trust going with them, that you're trying to get them some money, and then of course there's pensions, there's IULs, and then that's where we come in with what we know best. So if you want to be part of that, let's just make it super, super simple. Just send me a text and type in, to make sure you're paying attention, ERTC. Text ERTC to my phone number. Everybody here knows my phone number. If not, let me put it up on the screen because I got to get going on a different webinar. And so let me just go ahead and put this here. Hold on one second. All right. And so, like I said, it's nothing joins, not recruiting. I'm just simply telling you that when I heard about it, because I actually, if you've ever heard Bill Handel, he pimps the, well, I should say the word. He pushes this tremendously on KFI and a couple of other radio channels. He got 250,000 back himself. So that's why he's a little passionate about the whole thing. Let me just go back over here and show it to you. So you can just go ahead and text me. All of you here have, all right, well, hell, everybody's texting me, so you do have my number. But if not, let me go ahead and put this here, and I'll send you the information. It's 100. Oh, great. Okay, there you go. That's my cell phone number. It's going to be on the screen, 562-237-3683. Just text ERTC so I know what it is. Nothing to join, no company to join. This is strictly referral. We're not doing the work. I'm not doing the work. So all it is that the CPA firm does all the work. They find out if they qualify. If they do, they'll come back and say, hey, they qualify for about $195,000 of that. They will keep a portion of it. And if that referral fee is paid through me to the team, if you would, I'm not lifting a finger. There's no company name involved that I'm going to mention. It's just strictly what I just described to you right now. Don't make a big deal out of it. There's only $30 billion left. Once it runs out, they said they're not going to reestablish the fund. It's just a way for it. What I saw in it, what I wanted is that if you are working with companies or want to work, instead of walking into a door saying, give me your money, say, hey, by the way, and once we do that, we're going to mail some of these. It's super glossy on both sides that we can give you, or a digital copy immediately as well. Any questions from anybody before we wrap it up? Once, twice? All right. So thank you so much for your time. Also, don't forget, If you are looking for the solar thing, I'm a big believer in saving money where you can. Do yourself if you're a homeowner. If you're not a homeowner, send me somebody's name and phone number, and we'll send you $1,000 to $2,000 when we if anything does get installed on your part. And I'm sharing with you right now the actual flow code for that. There you go. I'm telling you, this is the no-brainer. Why the hell would you pay more than you have to? So, all right, guys, that's it. If you're watching the recording, please hit the like button, subscribe, notification bell, and I thank you. And I look forward to speaking to you again next weekend when we talk about the importance of CRMs and how you can get your hand on one for a one-time fee. Thank you.